Before Ghana was called Ghana, before Europeans arrived with maps and borders, this land was already rich, powerful, and feared. Gold flowed through its forests. Kingdoms rose, kingdoms fell. But here is a truth they never taught you in school. Modern Ghana is not the ancient Ghana Empire. So why does the name still exist? And who really decided it? This is the untold story of how Ghana was born. Not the classroom version, not the colonial version, but the African story told the African way. Long before borders were drawn across Africa, the continent was already organized. Powerful empires ruled vast lands. Trade routes crossed deserts. Kings commanded armies. And West Africa was one of the richest regions on Earth. There were no straight lines dividing people. No countries as we know them today. People lived by kingdoms, clans, and culture, not by flags. The first place ever called Ghana was not located where modern Ghana is today. The ancient Ghana Empire existed far to the north, in areas that are now part of Mali and Mauritania. This empire rose around the 6th century. Its wealth came from gold. So much gold that Arab traders called it the land of gold. The king of Ghana was so powerful that all gold nuggets belonged to him. Only gold dust was allowed to circulate among the people. That was how tightly wealth was controlled. Caravans crossed the Sahara Desert carrying gold, salt, ivory, and slaves. Cities grew, armies expanded, and the name Ghana became a symbol of power across Africa and beyond. But power never lasts forever. By the 13th century, the empire began to weaken. New powers rose, trade routes shifted, and slowly the ancient Ghana Empire disappeared into history. Yet the land that would one day become modern Ghana was already alive. Far south of the ancient empire, along the forests and coastlines of West Africa, strong societies thrived. The Akan people built powerful kingdoms deep within the forest. Kingdoms like Denkira, Akwamu, and others rose to prominence. They were rich in gold, rich in culture, and strong in military organization. Among all these kingdoms, one would rise above the rest, the Ashanti Empire. United by the sacred golden stool, the Ashanti people formed one of the most powerful empires in African history. Their kings ruled with authority. Their armies were disciplined and feared. Their control of gold and trade made them extremely wealthy. They resisted invaders, they defeated rival kingdoms, and for generations they stood strong. But then, ships appeared along the coast, white sails, strange flags, foreign weapons. Gold attracted attention. Power attracted enemies, and soon everything would change. How wars were fought, and how the name Ghana was reborn in the modern world. This is only the beginning. The ships that arrived on the coast did not come in peace. They came for gold, they came for control, and eventually, they came to stay. By the late 1400s, Portuguese ships reached the shores of the Gold Coast. They built forts along the coastline, not to protect Africans, but to protect European interests. Elmina Castle was one of the first. Then came the Dutch, then the Danes, then the British. The coast became crowded with foreign flags. Gold was traded, weapons were exchanged, and soon human beings became commodities. The transatlantic slave trade changed everything. Millions of Africans were captured, sold, and shipped across the ocean. Families were torn apart. Kingdoms were weakened, and the balance of power began to shift, yet not everyone surrendered. In the heart of the forest, the Ashanti Empire stood firm. For decades, the Ashanti resisted European control. They fought wars, they defended their land, they protected their sovereignty. The British tried treaties, they tried force, they tried manipulation. Still, the Ashanti resisted. But modern weapons, internal divisions, and relentless pressure slowly took their toll. By the late 1800s, after several brutal wars, the Ashanti Empire was finally defeated. The Golden Stool survived, but political independence was lost. In 1902, the British officially declared the region a colony. They called it the Gold Coast. The name reflected what they valued most. Not the people, not the culture, but the gold. Colonial rule reshaped society. Borders were drawn, languages were imposed, education was controlled. Resources were exported, yet something powerful was growing beneath the surface. A new generation of educated Africans began to ask questions. Why should foreigners rule our land? Why should our resources enrich others? Why are we strangers in our own home? Among these voices was one man whose ideas would change history. Kwame Nkrumah. He believed Africa could govern itself. He believed freedom was not a gift, it was a right. And he believed the Gold Coast deserved independence. Mass movements began, protests spread. The people demanded change. The British resisted at first, but the pressure became too strong. On the 6th of March, 1957, history was made. The Gold Coast became the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence from colonial rule. But a question remained. What should this new nation be called? They did not choose a colonial name. They did not choose a European name. They chose Ghana. Not because of geography, but because of symbolism. The name Ghana was taken from the ancient empire that once symbolized African power, wealth, and sovereignty. It was a statement, a declaration, a reminder that Africa had greatness before colonization and could have it again. And so modern Ghana was born, a nation carrying the memory of ancient empires, the pain of colonialism, and the hope of a free African future. This is how Ghana became Ghana. Not by accident, not by chance, but by struggle, resistance, and vision. And this story is just one of many across Africa. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more untold African history. Join us as we uncover the incredible stories of Africa, one nation at a time.